SRK has obviously landed in the DRC, about a decade ago. Can you tell me what was the strategy for that going in?
There was a lot of mining companies wanting to get into the DRC, in particular the copper belt there. It's just an extension of the Zambian copper belt, and there were lots of opportunities. So SRK were contacted by a lot of companies. In fact, many of them in those early days were based in Johannesburg, looking to invest or start up mines in the DRC. And I think the government state-owned mining company, Jacquemines, was starting to, cut loose a few of the options there, pass them or sell them onto other mining companies. So, SRK, being a known mining consultancy, were approached to assist in this area, and it just seemed to make sense, and so we got in there, and I think we worked quite happily there, and until we got around to about 2010, we had Susa Maleba, who's the current country manager, working in our Johannesburg office, and he showed a keen interest to go back to Lubumbashi, and as I say, the rest is history. We were doing a lot of work there, and it made sense for us to have a local office there, and gives us some kind of advantage to be there. And then, obviously, the opportunity in terms of certainly the Katanga province, then Katanga province being a mining district, the areas around Lubumbashi and Kolwezi, there was a lot of activity going on in that region, and so we wanted to be there, and it made sense to be present there and have an office there.
You're doing a bit of a local ownership drive at the moment?
SRK by nature, we are an employee-owned company, and what then happens is the employees who work in the company at whatever level they're in can buy shares in the company. The change of ownership from previously largely owned by the South African practice to a local majority-owned, Congolese majority-owned shareholding is not foreign to SRK. It's something that would have been right at the start of this thing, where SRK, South Africa in this case, was the major investor in the business, but over time we sold down. But that was not happening fast enough, and also the legislation in the country had changed, where mining companies were obliged to buy services from local companies, and local companies that were majority Congo DRC owned. And that just gave it the final push. And last year, after the office did go through a bad patch from about 2014, 2015 to about 2018. We spent a lot of time stabilizing the office, making it, strengthening the balance sheet, and making it a viable investment. And last year, we got to that point. So besides the legislative push, SRK's view is always its local employee ownership. And in addition to that, the company was in a state that it made it an attractive investment for employees there. So all those things came together. And last year we took a big step, and it was actually a very big step, because we moved the company from 11% local ownership to 51% local ownership. So we're quite proud about that, and quite happy that such a thing's happened. So the office is now very much aligned with SRK's shareholding philosophy. Ultimately, that share ownership can go up to 70%, because 70% of local shares, local consulting practices shares, should be owned by local employees. The other 30% is held by our global holding company.
You mentioned earlier that you wanted to grow to the other provinces. Could you maybe outline if there are any set plans in place?
The long-term goal, I'll touch on a bit later, but is to look at other mining provinces in the DRC and look at what opportunities we could leverage from having a base in Lubumbashi. At this point in time, it's a stated objective. In fact, it's something that we looked at very closely over the last year and a half, and So it's in the formation. But I would say, just from my view, is that over the next 5 years, we would like to see that practice getting at least 50% of its work from outside of the Copper Belt and the Katanga region. And there are opportunities for that. We as SRK in South Africa have worked in other parts of the DRC. On the eastern side, we've done work in gold mines, and on the western side, we've even done work in diamond mines or diamond concessions. So I think the DRC, anybody you speak to knows that, or they will tell you, look, this country is endowed with mineral riches. It just needs to be found and obviously extracted. And that's where SRK comes in and will play a vital role in developing the mining industry and those resources in that country. I think the other thing is now the DRC, with cobalt being a battery mineral, there are other battery minerals such as lithium, deposits that people are looking at. So that's an opportunity as well. And SRK wants to be at the forefront of that development opportunity. The country itself is looking to diversify away from copper and also develop mining regions in other parts of the country. And there's no reason why SRK shouldn't be part of that expansion.